that smell?
Is that a doobie?
Hey, you wanna get high, man?
Man, am I fucking stoned.
Hey, man, you got a joint?
You wanna get high?
Man, I've been getting high all week.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Pre-Rolled Podcast, a hopefully long-running series of, basically me and whoever I decide to have on, just hashing it out, discussing things, discussing the news, discussing what's going on in the world. So, without further ado, let's just get right into it. I have no guest today, so it's just gonna be me, probably gonna be a bit of a short one, not gonna have no hour and a half long podcast today, but, just wanted to talk about a couple things that I've seen on the YouTubes, past few weeks. I haven't been too in love with the idea of either of them. The first is Philip DeFranco. Long running YouTuber, been around the community for quite a few years, and actually, when I first started watching YouTube, I was a really big fan of his content. It got a little too pandery for me, so I kind of stepped back, but. Recently he just posted a video to the main channel, the PDS channel, and in the video he states that he's a free content creator now. He's not tied down to a network, which I believe he was signed to Discovery at first, but that's no longer a thing. It's no longer his pre-existing circumstances. So what he's decided to do is make an unbiased independent news network. That's I'm not against the idea of it. It works on paper, definitely. We definitely need an unbiased source of news to, I mean, Fox News, that's biased, CNN, that's biased. You look at any other independent news source, InfoWars, Young Turks, anything of that nature, I mean, you're gonna get your biases, you know what I mean? You're gonna get your opinions, and their opinions are gonna make their ways into those agendas, and that's just how it is. So, the problem is that, Philip DeFranco, he's definitely not poor. He's a pretty successful YouTuber, pretty successful businessman. The thing is that he's looking to his fans. He's looking to crowdfunding for this venture that he's going on. Instead of it coming out of his own pockets, instead of it coming out of investors' pockets, he wants you, the viewers, to invest in it for him, with no profit to be turned for you, nothing to be gained in a monetary sense. So, I found this kind of interesting, because the thing is that, Philip DeFranco, according to him at least, he makes, around, $200,000 a year. So, I mean, if you're making he said that he pays himself $200,000 a year. So, if you're paying yourself $200,000 a year, that means that there's definitely plenty of other money that you're writing down as business expenses to get the taxes taken off, when they're not really business expenses. And even if they were business expenses, that just adds to the overall amount of money each year that you could be putting into this yourself, you know what I mean? But the thing is that I understand it's a risky venture, and he even explained that in the video, that it's a risky venture, talking about the removal of ads going across YouTube right now, at least the not so family friendly side of YouTube right now. And the thing is that yeah, it's risky. It might not pan out the way he wants it to. But using other people's money as a safety net, is that really the way to go, Phil? I mean, he's always had a pretty good standing in the community as far as his reputation goes. He's always been pretty straightforward, has been pretty transparent overall, and he's been on the right side of a lot of issues over the years. But the thing is that how can you look at something like this and still believe that he has, the intentions of upholding that positive reputation that he has in the community? Because, I mean, he's literally taking money from people who are just throwing it out there just for this thing that's completely of his doing, of his own wishes, you know what I mean? So, and yeah, I understand that some of these people are pretty well off, the people donating $1,000 a month, the people donating $100 a month. All of the $1,000 spots, all of the $100 spots are actually accounted for. He said that he's gonna add more, so that just leaves the other donations, the $1 a month, the $5 a month, those donations. And who do you think those come from? Those don't come from rich people. Those come from people who work at McDonald's and shit. So I mean, yeah, unbiased news is a good idea, but if you're trying to be the forefront of it, if you're trying to turn it into a profitable thing and, you know, pave the way for other people. It looks a lot better when you do it out of your own money. You know what I mean? Not out of other people's, not through Patreon. I mean, and Patreon, I mean, I've been hearing it come up a lot in the last few weeks because of this whole ad problem. Like a lot. And I mean, I'm not really sure what the solution is. I'm not sure if Patreon is a solution to all the ads getting pulled. I mean, what's the end game? What's the end game for these smaller YouTubers? You know what I mean? I'm not saying they're wrong for using it, but are we just gonna look to Patreon until YouTube fixes their shit? What happens when they never fix their shit? Are you just gonna keep taking people's money? You know what I mean? Like it may be lucrative right now. It may be a solution for right now, but it has no long-standing, you know, people have no long-standing obligation to give money to you. And the money that they're giving you now is completely reliant on whether or not your content's good. Assuming that, you know, they're not just bandwagoners and they don't just, you know, come for the pandering like I'm assuming most of Philip DeFranco's audience actually does. Because, man, that guy can pander. I'll tell you what, that guy can really fucking pander. I mean, that's probably how he's gotten to the sub count that he has, and that's probably how he's gotten to the point that he has in YouTube, and the standing that he has in YouTube. It's the same thing with Boogie. I mean, Boogie2998 or whatever his name is, a fucking idiot. Okay, I'm not gonna say he's an idiot. I disagree with a lot of his views. I think he presents them pretty well. The problem that I have is that he does all this fucking pandering, and it's never okay. I'm gonna take this one side on this issue because I firmly believe in it. Everything he says, he always backpedals it. It's always, oh, you know, I disagree with these SJW feminists fucking assaulting people at Berkeley, but at the same time, like, you can't follow that statement up with a but. You know what I mean? You can't. It doesn't work like that. Just pick a side of the fucking issue. Either you're against some shit or you're for some shit. You can't just backpedal everything. You can't have a backhand to every fucking thing you say. It doesn't work like that. I mean, I guess apparently you can, and apparently you can amass a lot of fucking followers on these social media platforms that we use doing that. But I don't know. I just think it's a little bit sideways. I think it's kind of pussy shit to be doing that, you know what I mean? I just disagree with it. You'll never see me doing that. I mean, I'm a pretty opinionated person. You'll see me take one stance or another on an issue more often than not. Now, can I be swayed from that stance? Yeah, totally. If the evidence is there, if the facts are there, I'm not gonna argue against the truth. That can totally sway my side. But the thing is I actually have the balls to fucking take a side, you know, as do many other people. But the thing is, it's situations like this Philip DeFranco situation that really make you realize how fucking money hungry people can be. I mean, and it might even go further than money, to be honest. I mean, it might just be a power thing for this guy at this point. You know, I mean, I feel like that's what it is for a lot of the elites in the world, you know, the people who run the media, the people who run the government, you know, the people who run our lives, basically. They have all the money they could ever fucking need. They could fucking give us all $20 and they'll still be good to go. They'll still be financially set. So it's not a matter of money for them. It's a matter of control. It's a matter of having power over people. It's a matter of being the deciding factor in the way people live their lives. That's what it is for the media. That's what it is for the government. And I'd say that's what it is for a lot of YouTubers. It's just a power thing. Yeah, the money's nice, but I mean, you can see the money's gone, and people are still here. People are still, you know, trying to get their opinions out there. People are still trying to influence people. So, I guess overall what I'm getting at is, don't put so much value into internet personalities. Don't put so much value into people that you don't know, into people that haven't done anything for you in your life personally. Because chances are, all this shit about, oh, I love you, and I couldn't have done this without you, and all the repetitive, redundant fucking shit that you hear in people's YouTube videos, they're just blowing it out their ass. Say you leave a motherfucking like, you know what I mean? Say you leave a sub, say you do anything, say you help them advance their careers. That's what this is for people. It's a career, it's a job. This is how people pay their rent. So, knowing that, you got to take everything they say with a grain of salt. And I'll use that as a segue to talk about the donations that Philip DeFranco, you guys may have been wondering about this since I started talking, but the donations that he's been receiving for this new venture that he's on, according to DJ Killer Keemstar of the Drama Alert channel range anywhere from 50,000 to somewhere around 250,000, and it could be anywhere in between. But bare minimum, we're talking 50,000 a month to jumpstart an independent news network with no kind of loss to be seen on Philip DeFranco's side. No matter what happens, he didn't get that money from venture capitalists. He doesn't have to sell any stock in the company. He doesn't have to give anything to you, the viewer, who put this money in his pocket. I mean, yeah, you get your little Patreon perks, you get your little whatever, you get your early releases of the shows or whatever, but is that worth it? Is that enough for you guys? To just get early releases of shows or whatever the fuck he's offering, man? Like, honestly, like, this is money coming out of your pockets. This is money that could go towards your own ventures, towards your own YouTube career, towards anything, literally anything to advance yourself. But, and I mean, I don't know, maybe this is just coming from a selfish standpoint. I'm a pretty selfish person. I'm not too worried about everybody else. If you want to know my truthful opinion, I think everyone's kind of a fucking piece of shit. I think we're all garbage. And we're just on this one-way ticket to death, and whoever dies the richest wins. So I don't know. Maybe that's kind of bleak, but with the shit you see in the news every day, it's kind of hard to keep this like long-standing faith in humanity. At least in general, there's good people out there. There's always gonna be good people out there. The thing is that I just feel as if those people are getting more and more outnumbered by just shitty-ass fucking people. You know, every day, every second. What's it called? I could bring these statistics up right now. Let's look at the population count right now. Let's bring this shit up here. I'll read these numbers off for you guys. Let's take a look. Alright, let's see. Births today, 203,000. Deaths today, 84,000. So that means that just today there's been 119,000 people in this world that weren't here yesterday. That's our population growth right now. And so you can obviously imagine, out of those 84,000 people that died today and counting, yeah, some of them were probably pretty fucking shitty people. But the fact that the amount of people that are born today is well over twice that of the people that have died today, you can assume that for every one shitty person that dies, at least a couple shitty people are going to be born. And you can also assume that for every one good person that dies, the same thing. Yeah, maybe a couple good people will die, maybe a couple shitty people will die. You never know. So that just gets back around to my main point of don't put so much value in these people based off of what they say when you've never even met them, when you've never even had a face-to-face conversation with them, when you just only know them through the parameters of a screen. You know what I mean? That shit makes no fucking sense. If you were to tell anyone who was born before the internet boom that's what you're doing, that you're giving money to some guy that you've never fucking met on the internet before for a business venture, they'll tell you you're fucking crazy. They'll tell you to just fucking stop. Like, honestly, man, I don't get this lack of sense. I don't get where it comes from. It makes no sense to me whatsoever. So, I don't know. I think that he should continue to make one. He should continue to make sorry, losing my train of thought here. He should continue to make an independent news network. I think it's a good idea. I think it would serve a good purpose in the world, but what I don't think is that it should be coming out of your guys' pockets. I think that's where it starts to become an issue. I think that's where I start to have firm disagreements with it, in fact. Because let's also keep in mind, like, most of the people on YouTube, they're not like financially stable grown adults. Like, most of them are fucking kids. And if you think that someone who's between the ages of like 18 and 23 is going to be financially stable, then you have no idea what you're talking about, honestly. Like, yeah, they might be, but statistically speaking, probably fucking not. So, I mean, unless Philip DeFranco's main demo is just old men and women who are well off and have good money, then this shit's fucking wrong. It's just fucking disgusting. Not disgusting, but it's fucked up. It's like the CS:GO Lotto type shit. It's the same principle to me. You're taking money from people without them really getting anything in return, and that's all it is. But I don't know. I guess that's all I really have to say about that. Not really much more to go into on that. Philip DeFranco, you need to stop. Need to go back to being a good person and doing what you're doing. The other thing I wanted to talk about today was don't know if you guys saw this, but recently there's been a problem with this DaddyOFive YouTube channel. Man, sorry for laughing, but I just keep thinking of that little fucking kid. The what's his name? Cody. Man, he's great. I don't know. He's just hilarious. I love his mannerisms. I love the way he acts. That one video where he turned off the Xbox, he's like, "What the heck?" That shit's fucking hilarious. Like, but I don't know. I wanted to get into that. I know it's kind of a stale topic at this point. I know the police are looking into it already, but I wanted to talk about it because I feel like I have kind of an unpopular opinion about this. And my unpopular opinion is that, I mean, in some of the cases, yeah, he went a little bit too far, but the thing is just based on the video evidence, do I think that's enough for those kids to be taken away from their, supposed parents? I know the quote unquote real mother has been out here making these claims, and I'm not really going to get into that because I have no idea one way or the other. That information will come out when it comes out. But speaking just on the videos that are still around, the videos that are getting re-uploaded on a daily basis, do I think that's enough for children to be taken away from their family? Like, of course fucking not. Have you guys seen like real like abuse situations? Yeah, some of that shit's fucked up, but man, I grew up in a household with 3 older siblings. 2 of them are basically adults. The other one's around my age. She's a year older. And when I watch DaddyOFive, when I watch those videos, I see my family that I grew up with. It's like watching like old fucking memories or some shit, dude. Like I don't see abuse. I just see kids being fucking kids and parents, yeah, maybe not being too stern about it, but I don't know. Are you people parents? Have you people had kids? If you had to raise kids, do you know what it's like to raise kids who are just constantly fucking running around breaking shit and getting into fights? Do you really think that two grown people have the energy to just constantly deal with that, as well as work and do whatever the fuck they have to do? Just constantly deal with it? No, sometimes you just gotta let them fucking duke it out. One of them will get smacked, start crying, whatever. This is how it is. This is how it is. Every time you see Cody, every time you see him at the beginning of a video, he's totally fucking fine. It's not like he has like, residual like problems from the last video or whatever. It's just shit. It's whatever. You're a kid, you'll forget about it. And I mean, there's obviously like there's science that points to the idea that emotional pain manifests within our bodies physically, so we actually feel that shit as physical pain. But the thing about physical pain is that it's never permanent. You know what I mean? It's never permanent. It dissipates, it goes away, it at least fades. It's not going to be constant, or at least not at the level that it is at any given moment. So you got to take that into account when you're watching these videos and when you're seeing these kids beat the fuck out of each other, man. Because it's like, I don't know. Have you guys never had an older brother? Have you guys never had an older brother throw you around, punch you up a little bit? I for one, I'm certainly fucking glad I did. Otherwise, I would have turned out as a fucking pussy. I'm glad my brother beat up on me once in a while. Because otherwise, where would I be? I'd be getting the shit kicked out of me in middle school and shit. Like, why do you people want that for your kids? Why do you want your kids to be fucking weak? I'm sorry to tell you, but wearing wristbands that say "stomp out bullying," it's not gonna stop bullying. It's not gonna stop people from being fucking assholes. You can't train children not to be assholes if they're gonna be assholes. The only thing you can do is teach your kids how to fucking deal with them. You can't just run away and cry and scream, "Oh, I'm triggered, I'm hurt." Like, no, you just gotta fucking stick up for yourself and be a man about it. I don't know what to tell y'all. Like, we're so soft, and we're getting softer as a species, as a people. It's a generational thing. We keep getting softer and weaker and less able to deal with our surroundings and less able to adapt to problems or adversity in our lives. Whether it be physical, whether it be financial, whether it be emotional, it doesn't matter. People are just fucking soft. They're just soft and weak, and it's not your fault if you're just naturally that way. But the thing is why are we coaching that? Why are we encouraging that in people? All this shit about, switching up gender roles and toxic masculinity is like, What the fuck are you talking about? Toxic masculinity, trying to blame that on like motherfuckers beating their wives and shit. What does that mean? There's plenty of masculine ass males who don't beat their wives on ever. Just you can't just blame masculinity on that shit. You can't blame the amount of testosterone that's in your body on beating your wife, or abusing children or whatever. It's just fucking stupid. It's fucking ridiculous. And yeah, your interests don't coincide with how much of a man you are. If you like listening to fucking Shakira or some shit, then whatever, do that. That doesn't make you any less or more of a man. But what I think does is your ability to handle yourself. That's what makes you a man. That's what separates a man from a boy, is your ability to handle yourself, your ability to brush shit off, your ability to deal with a situation without screaming "daddy, daddy." You know what I mean? And I'm not saying this kid Cody, I'm not saying any kid has to live up to that standard. But the thing is when a kid fucking cries and busts his shit or whatever, why are we going, "Oh, that's okay, just let out how you feel, it's all right, that's just wrong, that shouldn't happen"? Instead of that, why aren't we saying, "Hey man, stop fucking crying, it's not gonna help you, it's not a solution, go fucking deal with your problems, go find solutions to your problems. Crying isn't a solution, being a bitch about something isn't a solution." I don't know. I don't have kids myself. I've had plenty of experience with them. I mean, I'm the youngest of my siblings, but they've had plenty of children of their own, and I've spent plenty of time taking care of them. So I can tell you guys, like, it's just human nature. Some people just fucking suck, like that older brother that they got. Yeah, he's a fucking cunt. Like, anyone will tell you that. He's a little fucking asshole. But just because he's a fucking asshole doesn't mean that we have to start this whole initiative like, "Oh, stop being assholes, everybody." You're like, no, you don't give a shit. If you're a fish, you're gonna swim. If you're a fucking serial rapist, you're gonna serial rape. It's just the world we live in. It's not right. It's not okay. It's fucked up, but it's the way it is. Some people are just inherently fucked up. So you can't expect them to just stop being the way they are. You can't, no matter how wrong it is, no matter how immoral they are, you can't expect them to just cut it out. The only thing that you have control over is your ability to deal with those people. That's the only thing that you can control. That's the only destiny that your decisions affect. Because most of the time, I'm gonna tell you guys right now, this world doesn't give a fuck about you. It really doesn't. It will eat you alive. So when I see all this shit about, gender studies and fucking colleges and all these kids complaining about, "Oh, I took gender studies and I majored in it at Berkeley and now I can't get a job." Like, of course you can't fucking get a job. Nobody's gonna pay you for that shit. You should have gone into HVAC or something. You should have gone into psychology. You should have gone into something that fucking pays. You should have gone into STEM fields. That's what I mean. People want to, these people, they want to reshape the world around them to fit their needs, but that's it's just literally impossible. Like, it's impossible. You can't reshape the world to suit your specific needs, to cater to your specific whims and wishes. That's on you. You have to adapt to the world around you. That's how evolution works. That's how we work. If you're fighting against that, you're fighting against evolution, and at that point you're being regressive, not progressive. You're not progressing humanity anywhere by telling people, "Oh, you can be whatever you want to be without any consequences, and no one's ever going to tell you that you're wrong for it, and no one's ever going to disagree with you, and if they do, then they're just a Nazi." You can't tell people that and expect things to just work out and be okay. Like, of course they're fucking not. You're raising fucking cattle at that point. You're raising grass-fed cattle. They're just waiting to die. We're making everything so simple. We're making everything so easy. And it's like, why? Why are we lowering the bar just because people can't meet it? We've never done that before in history. We've never done that before in history, where we lower the standard that we set just because certain people aren't getting to that standard. It's the most ridiculous thing I've fucking heard. You work hard and you reap the benefits. That's how the world works. That's how it's worked all the way up until this point. So now the way they want to change it is, oh, if I'm not white, or if I'm not straight, or if I don't identify as what I was assigned at birth, then I should get extra shit. I should get extra handouts. Like, this shit makes no sense, dude. you shouldn't get to go to college for free just because you identify as having a dick. It makes no fucking goddamn sense. I'll never understand this world that we're living in now, man. God damn, it's like De Niro said, someone should just flush it down the fucking toilet. But I don't know. I'm getting off track here. If you don't know, now you know. You're listening to the Pre-Roll Podcast, episode 2. I'm just getting into it by myself right now. Don't really got no guests, you know. Don't even got no smoke right now, but it's all good. We making the most of it. We getting through it, and we just talking. But got a little bit off topic for the last few minutes here. But what I was originally talking about is DaddyOFive and these child abuse allegations, because I think we can all agree that the worst of it was probably that one video. If you guys haven't seen it, there's this video where they're playing this bottle flipping game, where essentially the way it works is you flip the bottle. If it lands upright, then you're good. If it doesn't land upright, then the other person gets to smack you in the face. And from what I could surmise from the video, it was a voluntary challenge. The kids were kind of, in on it to an extent. They understood what they were doing. They understood the game that they were playing. The little daughter, I don't know what her name is, she flips the bottle. It doesn't land, and of course she gets slapped. Did the kid slap her a little bit too hard? Yeah, she starts crying. I think we can probably agree that's about as bad as it's gotten. And I think the worst part behind it was when he said it's not okay to hit girls, but that's your sister, that doesn't count. Okay, yeah, you could argue that, but I'm not even gonna touch that one. I don't believe in this whole oh, that's a girl, you can't hit her, especially on a level where there's almost nothing anatomically that separates a boy from a girl at that age. There just isn't. When a little fucking 5-year-old boy slaps a 5-year-old girl, I see absolutely no difference in it. If it was a 5-year-old boy and a 5-year-old boy, or a 5-year-old girl and a 5-year-old girl, it's all the fucking same. They're just all 5-year-olds. They don't really have an identifiable gender yet, or at least not one that really counts towards anything. So I guess the point I'm trying to make is, basically, you just all need to shut the fuck up and stop being little bitches. Like, just, like get over it, you know what I mean? Get over it. It's just not that serious. I can tell you way worse shit has happened to me than that kid Cody on the DaddyOFive YouTube. And I turned out, for the most part, just fucking fine. I'm not gonna go shoot up any schools or anything. Nothing like that. So, I'm not gonna beat any kids on my own. So, I don't know. I think you guys just need to stop being so sensitive. Not you, the viewer, necessarily, but just, people in general, the community in general. I think we take these things just a little bit too serious. I think everyone just needs to just fucking calm down about everything. We're busting bike locks over each other's heads because we don't like who won president. Like, this shit it's ridiculous. It really is just ridiculous. We're regressing back into how we were 150 years ago. Back when you couldn't even have a fucking town hall meeting without it turning into a brawl, you know what I mean? Like, is that really what we're trying to work towards, where it's just fucking nonsense and violence on every corner? Or can we just calm down a little bit, analyze situations rationally, and, not jump to conclusions, and just be fair. Just be fair towards people, not be overly compassionate towards one type of person, not be overly brash or overly, rude or dismissive of another type of person. There's no need to be like that. We're all individuals. We all have our individual opinions, our own individual views, our own individual mannerisms. And really, I think that we should be judged off of that and not what we identify as or what political stance we hold or whatever. It's stupid. Everyone comes from different walks of life. Nobody's the same. No two snowflakes. You guys know that whole saying. So why do we judge things like that? Why do we judge things with this precedent of, oh, I've seen this before, when it could be completely different from whatever the fuck you've seen before? I've seen actual, cases of child abuse. I have friends who have actually been abused as children, literally abused. And they'll watch that DaddyOFive channel and they'll fucking crack up laughing because it's just not that serious. You guys see a little kid crying and you're quick to call fucking CPS. It's like, what do you? It's all kids do is cry. I used to cry like 3 times a day when I was little. You know, like it's just dumb. It's just so dumb. And yeah, I agree. I agree with the whole you shouldn't be exploiting your kids for money. It shouldn't be a matter of like that video where the kid Cody's all triggered and he's laying in his bed and he's saying, "Oh, I wish you wouldn't record my life and this and that." Yeah, I agree. That would be I in my opinion abuse because at that point you're exploiting your kids for money. You're making them do something that they don't want to do in a public sense for your own monetary gain. And I mean that's about as abusive as the situation gets. I don't, like nobody's really getting abused necessarily. Like that's just having siblings. Your siblings are gonna beat on you. You're gonna beat on your siblings. That's just how it is. So I don't know. I don't take too strong of an opinion on that because it's nothing I haven't seen before. It's just day to day for what I assumed to be most people, but I guess not, since you guys are virtue signaling so fucking hard over it. But I think that is where we're gonna wrap up episode 2. I hope you guys enjoyed. Go ahead and leave a comment in the comment section below. Go ahead and drop a like on the rating section below, or a dislike if you just didn't like the video. If you disagree with anything I said, I'd rather you didn't dislike. I'd rather you leave a comment. Tell me what you disagreed with. I'll be sure to get back to you, and we can get into it. We can debate. I'm totally cool with that. This has been the Pre-Roll Podcast. I'm your host, Rob, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.